Internet! Welcome to 2.5 Brains. I'm your host, Yo Grabba Gabba. Welcome to the weekly discussion of the latest episode of Survivor Season 41. What the hell episode are we on? 4? I think we're on 4. I don't know, 5, whatever. Doesn't matter. Welcome to the it's 4. Welcome to the latest episode. It's 4 Season 4, Episode 4. Welcome to the latest episode. We're talking about the latest episode right now, discussing what happened and break it all down. Be sure to subscribe to us anything. You know, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/PavementRoadProductions. And you can email us directly, pavementroadproductions@gmail.com. And subscribe right there on the YouTube channel so you don't miss anything. And you can get all our shows we do, all the reality TV, all the news, and all the sports, and all the other stuff that we do. Get out as often as we can, so you guys can enjoy them. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything, get all the updates. Let's bring in Jessica, the co-host. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Jessica likes to troll me. She's a giant troll.
Fucking call me a troll. Oops.
Okay. It's alright. This one's NSFW, no big deal.
That's not the worst thing kids hear anymore.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I heard this thing, and Jason Whitlock said today, it was very funny. He said, John Gruden got fired over his emails for saying some nasty things in his emails. Meanwhile, Eminem's going to be at the Super Bowl with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. So, I mean, do we really care what people say? I mean, I don't think so. And we shouldn't. Anyways, different topic for different day.
Correct. So,
Jessica, what did you think of this episode? How you doing?
I mean, I'm fine. Getting over a cold. Thanks for asking.
Yep, that's why I asked.
It was a good episode. Of course, I missed it, so I had to watch it the next day. As I walk in the door, you're yelling and shouting at me not to listen, so I had to yell, not hear what was happening.
Yeah, because you walked in when JD was giving his final words.
Correct.
I was like, oh boy, the last thing, you're like, he got voted out. What happened? Oh well, you missed the whole thing, so
I couldn't help it.
I know. Doctor's appointments at night suck.
Yeah.
For sure. So and then so it is what it is. We it's been very busy. We said I said in the last show and the other show I do with it, cancel the show. It's gonna be hard to get stuff out next month, so we're just gonna do what we can. If we get it out at all, be grateful, I guess, because it's gonna be tough getting them out the next few weeks.
And then after that, we'll have all the time in the world.
Right after like Thanksgiving, we'll have plenty of time.
Nah, after Christmas. Into the new year.
Well, okay, so after the season's over, we'll be able to have more shows.
All right.
About nothing, because the shows won't be on. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. So other than that, do you want to dive in? Have anything else to add to talk about the season?
No, we can just dive
in. We'll kind of get to it as we go through, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. So 3 moments that mattered. Moment number 1 was...
Unpurpling.
Unpurpling, yeah. So what's unpurpling? Or do you want me to go into it?
As you had to explain to me beforehand, when someone isn't very much on the show, it becomes now, I guess, someone isn't on the show much. So Heather and Erica were unpurpled from this past episode because they were all about this whole episode.
Yeah, so it actually comes from 2 things. Mostly, though. It's
one eye, one horn, flying purple people eater. No.
That also... that was the main one. No.
Okay.
From Survivor all the way back to Survivor 21. Survivor Nicaragua, where
simpler times.
Yeah, before Boston Rob played for the 3rd time. Before they played for the 4th time. Cuz I forget he's played like 100 times. So between Heroes vs. Villains and then Redemption Island was Nicaragua. That was the season that Fabio won, and there was 2 Kellys on that show, on that season. There was Kelly Bruno, who had 1 leg, and it was Kelly Shin, who had purple hair. And Kelly Shin, who had purple hair, wasn't on the show. Like she wasn't part of the show, and they called her Purple Kelly. All the people on the show, because she had purple hair, they distinguished her from the other Kelly on the tribe. They didn't want to call her 1 leg Kelly. They wanted to call her Kelly, and the other one was Purple Kelly. So they called her Purple Kelly. Purple Kelly was on the show. Bigger than she was on the show because she quit. So that's probably why she was on the show. They didn't want to give her any airtime for that. But so they called her Purple Kelly. And then Purple Kelly wasn't on the show. So then Purple became, anybody who was on the show became Purple. And so that's mostly what it is. There's Rancher Rick the next season wasn't on the show. It had a few of the people who were purple, and then you get to like was it Ghost Island with Chelsea, who had purplish hair and was on the Purple Tribe, and she was on the show either. So she was a very, very purple person also. So that's where that comes from. But unpurpling are the two purple people who are on the season so far, which were Heather and Erica. Tell me about that. Them being on that show, this episode about them.
Well, Erica, what was it, talking to my winner pick, Deshaun,
Yep.
about making moves. She wants to get rid of Nasir.
Sydney.
No, not Sydney. Was it Sydney? Sydney. Yeah. She wanted to get rid of Sydney and work with him. And then Heather was like the main focus of the immunity challenge. Reward challenge, because she couldn't get through the very beginning part, and everybody came to support her in the end, that she tried her hardest and never gave up, and everybody, gave her props for that. As you said, you still lost.
Yeah. So you couldn't finish a challenge, and like you were dead last and did a horrible job, but hey, at least you didn't give up.
But she kept going, and it was only for a reward.
Yeah.
The rewards aren't even that great this season. Sure. It's good. They're finally feeding them food that's actually gonna help them instead of like a fried chicken and a burger. That's what I want after I haven't eaten for like 5 days.
Right.
So at least that's fine. But like the reward challenges, I don't even think are worth it. But I mean, I guess not having rice, it's worth it.
Yeah, I guess anything's worth it, I guess.
But you didn't lose your Flint with that one, so.
Yeah, it was silly. And
woohoo.
And Jeff said afterwards, if that didn't inspire you, maybe you should be on the show. I'm like, okay. Because it didn't inspire me. Being a loser doesn't inspire me. Anyways, so they were both on the show. So, it's like, the visibility spike sometimes when somebody's actually on the show for the first time. You a lot of times fear they're going to go home. But the last few seasons, it hasn't been the case. I remember this very, very distinctly with when Dean was on the show. Dean was like, he was literally not on the first 3 episodes. And then he was a little bit on the 3rd episode. And then he was a big part of the 4th episode. Like, all right, well, he's going home. And he got a showmance, so he's going home. And then he didn't go home after the final 3 was the runner-up. So, like, the visibility, maybe they're not giving him anything early on. And you're probably not winning if you're not on the first couple episodes. But, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going out early either. You're just probably not winning. So, either way. And they had to give him a huge edit in the finale to give him viability to have a chance to win. So, I still don't think their chances of winning are good, but at least they're on the show and they're getting some confessionals and whatnot.
Yeah. Bailey's not so sure about
Bailey disagrees. She's like, purple. I like purple.
He likes the song.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Anything else? We'll move on to the next moment that mattered.
Let's move on up.
Moment number 2 is...
Can't lose on purpose.
Yeah, so what was that all about?
So the Blue Tribe was trying to throw it so they could vote out Erica, right? Yeah. But... Abraham. I keep mixing up names.
Danny and
Deshaun. Yeah, Deshaun was trying very hard to go slow. He was walking in the water. He wasn't even swimming, and
he was retying knots that they already
had. Nasir though was like just booking it, like he was trying so hard, and he won it for them. Or I guess won or they were second. I don't remember.
Yeah, they finished second in the movie.
But Deshaun tried to drag so much and throwing the thingies on the thingies.
The ring toss?
The ring toss, thank you. Throw the ring toss. He tried to throw that as much as he could, and then he was basically taken out so Nasir could try, and then he killed it for them.
Yeah, and Danny was like, I hate throwing the challenges because I'm a professional athlete, but he's like, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do in the game. Mm-hmm. And they tried throwing it, and they still couldn't lose.
Yep.
Reminds me of so much of Cagayan, Tony Sarah's first season, and that was the tribe that was with Spencer and that was the Spencer and Cass and Tasha and Jatia on the Brains tribe, or as Cass called them, the Crap for Brains tribe. And it was the Braun tribe was trying to throw the challenge to get rid of the late great Cliff Robinson and Lindsay Ogle, and they wanted to get rid of them and cut off the head of the snake, whatever, if you will. And so they tried to throw the challenge, and the Brain tribe was so bad at challenges. Sarah had a confession afterwards. You guys suck. We we're trying to lose. We can't even. You guys can't win when we're trying to lose. And it's true. And that's the Blue Tribe tried to do it. I mean, the only ones who really ran on the throwing were like Deshaun and Danny. Mm-hmm. And obviously I think Sydney and Heather sat out. I think they should have had Heather do it. They would have been fine losing. But they were saying that Deshaun was like he's trying to find the key they had to find and throw it away, so they couldn't find it, and then Erica found it. So they said they had some quote unquote good luck, I guess you could say, or bad luck, however you look at it, to not be able to get to win the challenge. And they said he said Deshaun said in confession he's really happy for Naseer to have a big moment and win the challenge. He just didn't want it to be this challenge,
Right.
because they want to throw it. And they said because Erica went to Deshaun, he's like, "Wait, here's Sydney," and Sydney's like, "Who said my name?" And she's like, naming off tribe members, something maybe would say her name, and Erica's like the last one she would think. And they're like, she's a rat. If we swap, she's gonna flip on us. We can't trust her. We gotta get rid of her. And he's also saying, if we go into a swap 6-6 or whatever, or however, 6 of us and 4 of somebody else and 3 of somebody, whatever, that's gonna be bad for us because they can pick us off because they'll have the numbers and they're gonna want to go after the full intact tribe, which is exactly what happened on Ben's season. They went after the healers tribe. The healers had 6 people left and they just started picking them off because they had a full tribe, and so it doesn't always happen that way, but I can definitely see the strategy for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the idea to throw a challenge, I'm never really for throwing the challenges, but sometimes, losing doesn't hurt. But then again, in the game with the game being what it is now with all the variants and, luck that goes into it and the shot in the dark and all that, who knows? I'd really rather be safe and then try to work my magic on somebody else. But losing one probably wouldn't hurt because that way they don't have a full tribe going into against somebody else.
Right.
Then that definitely makes them a target when they're all 6 members are still intact.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know. I don't really like the move, but it didn't work out anyways because the green team, UA, the Yellow team battled and they with the help of Tiffany and mostly Tiffany and Xander who got it done, but they got done. They did a good job. And then just, couldn't do it, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes here. But yeah, not good.
Yeah.
What's the moment that mattered? Number 3.
JD gets Sierra'd.
Yeah. So JD, he gave away his advantage to.
He was asked.
Well, right, but the week before he gave away because he got caught with it by Shan, so he gave it to Shan to hold on to, and then she gave it back at this week. And she's like, I still don't trust you, blah, blah, blah. So he gave it to her again. And she's like, well, now I can pull a Sarah on Sierra and just he vote him out and keep his advantage. And that's kind of what happened with Sierra at Dawn Thomas on Game Changers with Sarah. Sarah was like, hey, Sierra's like, hey, you're my friend. If I vote out, I'll give you my legacy advantage. And Sarah's like, oh, okay, well, don't worry, I'm not going to vote you out. And then Sarah's like, well, if I vote her out, I can get her advantage. So she voted her out, and then so shocked, who voted for Sierra? All surprised that somebody voted for Sierra, but it was her. And then so she got Sierra's advantage and ended up winning the game because of that. She would have lost if it wasn't for her getting that advantage. So her faking out Sierra saved her game and let her win the game. So JD, and so JD, that put the seed in Shan's head a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else do you have to say about that? Anything?
No, he was obviously taken by surprise, and she played him pretty well. That she asked if she could hold on to his advantage. If he trusted her so much, she can hold on to it again and then give it back after.
Yeah, and I don't know how the rule is now. Right? Obviously I know the rule is if you let somebody use it or hold on to it, whatever. But if you give it to them, they can keep it, but if you let them hold on to it, it's kind of a gray area. So I don't really know if the advantage might be gone and out of the game now, or it might be Shan's that she can have. I really don't know which is which at this point. But why did JD? So let's switch gears. Who didn't survive this week?
JD.
And what did he do wrong?
Trusted people too much.
He's very, very naive, right? For sure. He's young. He's 20 years old. He had all these delusions of grandeur. He's gonna be a great player. And was trying to make a big play, big moves, and just he did a lot of things wrong. But
he found something, got caught that he had it with, and didn't tell his alliance, and that just screwed him in the end. I guess you're either going to be forthcoming with your alliance or you're going to be better at hiding what you have so you don't get caught.
You gotta be one or the other, right? For sure. If you're gonna hide it, you can't get caught. If you're gonna be honest, then be honest about it. But obviously, we saw well it worked for Brad being honest. So that was not a good idea. But I mean, I think the thing is right now, I think JD, his biggest thing was too. Yes, he and obviously he didn't do well in the challenge, and Shannon was mad about that too. He's like money, and she said you should have said tribal.
He was very cocky about most things that he was doing. That he was just this awesome player, instead of just playing the game.
So, and that's the thing, right? So many, especially younger players, and so often these super fans, the biggest I'd say the biggest problem super fans run into is wanting to be the greatest player ever. Do you know how you can be a great player? Win. Like,
just because you watch it so much doesn't mean you're gonna be good at it.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, Jacob Derwin is a prime example. He knows Survivor. Max Dawson knows Survivor like back of his hand. Max Dawson taught a class on Survivor at college. I think it was at Northwestern. Okay. He went on the show. Yeah, he went on the show and got voted out pre-merge because you can know the game, but it's still social. And if you're not social, you're not going to win. And that's the thing.
That's not even it. What college in their freaking mind? I'm sorry, but what college would have a course about Survivor?
It was a sociology class, so they kind of watched Survivor and kind of had like a Survivor type of project.
Okay, that's a little different.
But but still. And he interviewed like Survivor players and like on like the sociology of
I'm sorry,
that.
but still.
It was really a blow off class for sure. And like people who've gone into his class have gone on the show, like
especially Northwestern. What the heck? That's so expensive there.
If you notice things about colleges in America, I'll move on. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so JD was very naive, and he said he was naive, and he was also, if he was a little more humble, he probably could have seen what was happening, right? But it was a bad combination of not being humble and also being naive. Mm-hmm. So he thought what he was thinking was happening, and he was too cocky to see that it wasn't. And that's a big reason he didn't survive. And I think being humble is important. Being paranoid is important because they're coming after you. They are. So thinking that they are is good.
So paranoid people should just go on and play this game.
I mean, for sure, because like John Cochran when he won, Malcolm. Again, I probably mentioned this on a recent show, but Malcolm said to him, who's confident. He was on a soap opera. He's being famous, good looking, everything you want in a Survivor player. He's smart, athletic, everything. And he said, I was here and you blindsided me, and meanwhile you're scurrying around nervous all the time, and you're neurotic, and I'm confident. And how do you go further than me? How is that like in life? Confidence goes a long way, and being neurotic doesn't necessarily get you as far. So how is that different in Survivor? He goes, because in Survivor, being paranoid is a good thing because people are after you. And you're always expecting them to come after you because they are.
I mean, knowing how to read people in general is a good life skill, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that's for sure. And JD was not doing that. He's putting all his faith in one person. Mm-hmm. Again, if somebody's like, "Hey, so I trust you, give me your advantage," I'd be like, "I give you my advantage last time. If you still don't trust me, that's on you." Mm-hmm. And you have to have the social grace to be able to pull it off. And obviously, everybody's eating out of Shan's hand. I mean, Chantel is running the game right now for sure. Yeah. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. So that's why he didn't survive. What is next?
Bottom three.
Bottom three, and doesn't matter in which order, but who's in the bottom three?
Jeannie.
So Jeannie's in the bottom three. Why?
Because she is very much so out of the group.
This group of two at this point. But
she's just kind of there because she's there. She's got no one that's actually there holding her in to work with.
Right. She's there. She could have been easily voted out if they wanted to. They decided they wanted to. They wanted to get rid of JD, but it could have easily been her if they would have swung that way. I mean, there's she got a vote. She could have easily got 3. Instead they voted the other way and won't get rid of JD. But she's in the game because they let her stay in the game. Mm-hmm. She has no bonds. She maybe they like her, maybe they want to work with her or whatever, more than we're seeing. But at the same time, she could very easily be gone next.
Yep.
For sure. Yep. Anything else to add to that?
No.
Okay. Let's go ahead then and talk about bottom 3. Who's the second?
Erica.
What about her?
I don't know. What about her? She's only been on one episode. So
I know, right? We don't know anything about her. Well,
she's got herself in bad targets because she already spoke about who she wants to get out, and she wanted to get Sydney out, and Sydney's popular on the tribe, so
she's getting a bad case of big movitis. I mean, she wanted to get rid of Sydney.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, she wanted to get rid of Sydney because the game hasn't been playing. I don't have a torch yet. I need to go to tribal council to get a torch. You know, how people go to tribal council to get a torch and get voted out that same day. Like a lot of people. A lot of people do that. Okay, they haven't been tribal yet. They go and they get. I mean, I can name off dozens of people. Nick Mariano, Mariano. You know, I mean, there's. I mean, so many people who merge boots. I mean, I don't know if Chris Noble, I don't think had a torch yet either. So we have voted out. I mean, you can go on the list of people who don't. You know, Jessica Johnston. I mean, from Ben's season. You keep going. I mean, there's so many people who they got their torch the first time and they got voted out at that same time. So like you don't. I mean, a good way to avoid being voted out is not going to tribal council. So
Technically only happens 3 times a season though, because at some point.
In theory,
I guess.
but it doesn't always happen because the merge boot may have already gone or whatever. You know, and so the first time somebody going, they could be after a swap. So there's different variations of what could happen.
Yeah, they get new torches then.
Well, they don't get new torches, but they get their torch for the first time, and somebody else already has their torch and they get voted out.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of different factors, but it does happen. Obviously, the first boot, it's their first tribal council. Right. I mean, they happened twice this season. Their first boot was their first.
Oh, right.
So, I mean, so I get it though. You want to play the game. You get a little circuits because you're bored, especially when you're always winning stuff. But at the very, very least, I mean, yes, at the very, very least, what you should be doing is building bonds, and then wait till you lose to throw out a name.
Yeah.
If you avoid throwing a name at all,
you don't need to plan before you have to plan.
Right. And again, you want to have the bonds so that way your name's not getting thrown out there. And if you want to make a move, then you can do that. But
James Bond.
Exactly.
Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. Yes. Okay. Yes. All those people.
Okay.
So you want to do that. Though you want to build relationships. I'm trying to say a different word. Build relationships.
Don't bury those bonds.
Exactly. Exactly. Very good analogy. Don't bury the bonds you made. But instead, like I said, what you should do is make relationships, and then when it's time to vote somebody out, then you avoid throwing out a name if you can, but don't throw out a name until you lose. Just build relationships in that meantime. And Erica definitely did not do that.
No.
Who else is on the bottom 3?
Heather.
And why is Heather there?
I don't know who the heck is she.
Exactly. She just did really bad in the challenge. She was a major liability to her tribe, and she's getting the edit of, "Oh, I'm overcoming adversity, and that's why I'm here."
Overcoming adversity. She tried, and even though she failed, she kept trying and she didn't stop.
Yeah.
She persevered.
But she didn't succeed, so it's not really persevering.
She persevered through rough times. She's older.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Suri Fields got the same thing. You got the same, Suri Fields got the same thing on her, her edit. So, and then she came back 4 times, or 3 times. So, whatever. But I don't see that. I mean, the reason Suri got that edit is because she was terrible at challenges, was not an outdoorsy person at all, was afraid of leaves when she first played, but was a mastermind in terms of strategy. Heather is not that. Heather, we haven't seen her. We don't know if she's a mastermind in terms of strategy. Her only edit she's gotten is, I can't win this challenge, and she sat out most of them anyway. So, not in a good spot, not in a winner's position by any means. But I think the good thing for her, if there is a good thing for her, is Erica kind of jumped on a grenade a little bit, because if one of them was going to go, you would think it'd be Heather, because Heather did terrible in the challenges, but Erica's seen as manipulative and a snake, so maybe that's a good thing for Heather.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Let's go ahead and talk about the top 3. Who's number 3 in the top 3?
Sydney.
Sydney's in the top 3. Yeah, she's number 3. Why Sydney?
I mean, she's got pretty close bonds with with most of her tribe, so she's not really in danger of going anywhere. She's got people that are going to protect her, even though Erica wants her gone.
That's the thing, right? I mean, Erica wants her gone, and it's obviously Sydney's my winner pick. Obviously, Erica wants her gone, and she's the move by Erica would have worked had she had maybe a better social game, or she would have targeted somebody else. But the fact is that they like Sydney more. Sydney's got the tighter bonds, better relationships, and so I think had Sydney not had those if Sydney wasn't as close with Deshawn, Erica goes to Deshawn mulls it over, maybe votes, maybe does go along with Erica, maybe doesn't, but the fact that he went right to Sydney immediately tells you everything you need about Sydney, right? I mean, Sydney's got, and again, and I think she's got a good relationship with Danny. I don't know. We haven't really seen her interact with anybody else, though. So, I mean, we've seen her interacting with Deshaun. We've seen her a little bit with Nasir. Nasir, Nasir thinks she's his number one also. So she got those connections there. We haven't really seen much about Heather. We haven't really seen much about Erica. And then Danny, I feel like Sydney is close with Danny, but we haven't really seen them interact really at all. One thing I will say, though, too, the reward challenge was actually refreshing. I never thought I'd say this. Refreshing over the Prisoner's Dilemma thing we've been seeing. They've been doing the Prisoner's Dilemma instead of the reward challenge. Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd say I want a reward challenge in my life, but I'm glad I had the reward challenge instead of the Prisoner's Dilemma again this time. That's all I want to throw out there. Anything else to say about Sydney?
She's got tight what?
Relationships, Jessica. Relationships.
Thought you were going to go with something else. That's okay.
No, not going with anything else. That's all I'm going with.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
Who's top player number 2?
Deshaun.
Why Deshaun?
Because he's the bomb. I'm kidding. He is also making good relationships. He was trying to make big moves, to throw the challenge so they could vote out Erica and I guess get rid of someone that's going to put a crack in what their alliance that they have together.
Seattle Kraken?
Yeah, Seattle Kraken, exactly. Don't use my stuff against me. But he's putting himself out there, making moves, and you actually see him on the show. So
yeah, for sure, and he's one of the main drivers of the narration. I mean, I think
not winner.
Right, and I think if you're looking at like who's narrating the season, it's for each tribe. It's Evie, it's Deshaun, and it's Shan. Exactly. So I think those are the three who are driving. Doesn't mean they're gonna win, but they're definitely the narrators of their tribes for sure.
Right.
So, and Deshaun's definitely that, and he said he was able to go to Danny, talk to Danny. Danny's on board with him. Nasir's on board with him. Sydney's on board with him. So if that tribe does survive and go deep in the game, I feel like it's one of those 4 that's gonna win. The only problem is when you get to the merge, a lot can happen and swaps, a lot can happen. So who really knows? But
right.
I mean, as of right now,
we've seen stupid things can happen, like Lauren's season with Tommy.
Right.
Stupid things can happen.
Right. We won't reopen that wound.
No, I don't know.
There's some real bad wounds, like a couple seasons right in a row there.
I don't want to talk about it. 36
was bad. 37 was great. 38 was bad. 39 was bad. And 40 was great. But anyways. So let's go ahead and talk about who's the player of the week this week. Do you want to talk about that, or do you have anything else to add?
No, Shan.
She's weird.
Yeah, she's a puppet master.
She's weird. She's got that.
Her singing. I think it's funny because I feel like everybody's got something when they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing.
But she was actually doing it out loud. Like she was talking to.
I mean, I sit there and hum sometimes.
Yeah, but she was doing it out loud. She was asking JD for his thing, for his advantage, and she's literally audibly humming it.
But was she in front of him? I thought that was just the
I don't think you could hear it. I don't think he could hear it, but you could hear it in the camera because she's mic'd up.
Yeah.
So she's weird, but guess what she's doing?
Winning.
She's controlling the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least on that tribe. Obviously, it's tough. It's like when, kind of going back again to the 3 tribe formats are great. Exactly. I love the three tribe formats a lot. They're usually really great. And Cagayan had, a lot of times they had they had like the blue, green, and blue, yellow, and red or whatever. Blue collar, white collar, no collar, or whatever on 30. But Cagayan had the green tribe as well. And the green tribe was the tribe that lost. They're the Dodo tribe. And they got down to 3 people left. And it was Spencer, Cass, and Tasha. All 3 of those people played a second time. They were all the star. They were basically the stars of the show, but none of them won. And the person who was on the tribe that was undefeated won the game. So that was Tony's season. So definitely it's good. It's good to lose a lot early because you get a big edit. But if you go out early and you go in the merge down numbers, it could hurt. That being said, it's gonna be hard to say because at this point I really feel like the kingmakers are the Yellow Tribe, right? With Evie and Xander and Tiffany and Liana, because if they go with the other group, they can really. I mean, they're probably the middle group right now. I'd say the 6 you think would stick together, the 3 be on the opposite end of it. So do they go with the 3 make a 7, take out the 6, or they go, I mean, and then of course swaps and and who knows when they're gonna merge. So things are all up in the air, right? But
at the same time, I feel like Shan can easily convince other people that what the heck is his name? Is making all the decisions. Ricard is making all the decisions on their tribe. Well, she's just following along.
Well, and the thing is, right? The reason I agree with that is the reason she's the winner and they're the winner picker. The reason she's number one this week and not Ricard. They both basically making the same move. They're each other's number one, no doubt. But who has a social game?
Yeah, her.
Right. So she can say, "Oh yeah, Ricard, he's just a bully," if she wants to, or he's just throwing his weight around.
And she can easily get other people to have the target on him instead of her,
right?
And then fall into the background.
And good.
No, I just said in the background-ish.
Oh, background.
She'll still be trying to control everything and probably can, but.
Right, and I think the thing is, right, I think when you get down to the end of the game, right, and Stephen Fishbach talks about the Venn diagram of people you can beat versus people you can trust, right? I think dead center and the people you can beat and the people you can trust for her, at least for now, is Ricard. So I think they get to the end, I think she beats him.
Yeah.
Because she has the social bonds, and Ricard got a vote for Shan Ricard got voted against. Shan was given an extra vote, right? Because and Jeannie wanted to go after Ricard, and because she trusts Shan more. I mean, it's Ricard is the one that they're willing to throw votes on to get rid of. Meanwhile, Shan's just she's got everybody right where she wants them. Exactly. And that's leading to slaughter. It's really, really great. She's really playing a great game. She could easily go out next week. I mean, they lose a challenge and Jeannie plays her shot in the dark to stay in the game and whatever. I mean, anybody can really get voted out any week. But as far as who's playing the best game right now, obviously we don't see much of the blue team because they haven't been to tribal yet. The yellow team hasn't gone to tribal in a couple weeks. But who's the mastermind of the team who's the mastermind of the tribe that's actually voting? It's Shan. And I think that's why she's playing the game. And again, she has the social bonds. The people she's burning are not on the jury, so who cares? She burned Brad, she burned JD, they're not on the jury. And she burned Brad. JD should have saw that and says, "Oh, she can burn him, she burn me."
But she won't because she's my number one.
And exactly. And everyone thinks they're her number one. And guess what? Guess who's Jeannie's number one right now?
No one.
Shan. Definitely not Ricard.
Oh, well, yeah.
No one, but if you had to pick.
No one's number one, though.
Right, but if you had to pick, not Ricard.
No.
The only one she knows is Shan.
Correct.
So it's really interesting. I do like the cross pollination. I want to see a swap. I don't usually like too many swaps, but one would be good just because, you don't want to try both two. They
started meeting each other anyways,
right.
Some of them, so.
Right, and my only fear too, I guess, of this is, I think they may just wait and swap. They may not swap because they're at 13 now, right? Yeah. So they may just wait and do one more vote and then merge at 12. Because at this point, why swap? Unless you're gonna swap it like at 15 or whatever, or 14 and two tribes of 7.
15. How can they swap at 15 if they're already past?
No, I mean if they would have.
Oh.
If they would have swapped at 15, you could have 3 tribes of 5, or swap at 14, you have 2 tribes of 7.
Right.
At this point you're at 13. If you don't swap this week, you're not gonna swap 2 tribes of 6 and then have the jury start there. Like the jury's got to start around 12 or 11 at the very, 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 very least. I mean,
they might just merge this next week, and
that'd be fine too.
Didn't advertise it and left it a surprise because we don't know what's going on with this whole season because it's the new Survivor.
Right, and there's a lot of new stuff, and it's so that is a good thing, I guess. There's a lot of unique twists, but also you think on too, what happens if now? I mean, it gets a little bit into the weeds now with let's say because they show in the preview, no spoilers here, but they show in the preview Jeannie finds the idol. But if nobody in the other tribes have found it yet, so now she can't vote.
They all have them.
The yellow tribe does. Green doesn't because Brad had it. Blue hasn't found theirs yet.
Well, she's on the green tribe, so she's finding Brad's. That was rehidden.
Right. But that's what I mean. So
blue doesn't
have theirs.
Yeah. So
now let's say you swap or you merge. Are you gonna have a third one out there? Or are you gonna just say change the rules of the idols? So I was gonna need 2. How's that all gonna work? Because it's a fun thing for the pre-merge, but now you get to the merge. Now there's 3 idols out there, and they all have power because that's
They don't all have power though until the third one's found.
well,
so.
right. But now you have to hide that one. Genie finds it. Now you have to hide one on the merge beach so someone else can find it, and maybe it's a blue person or blue doesn't find it, and another green, or another yellow
It's just
finds it.
open for anybody else to get it. I
Right,
guess.
but now there's 3 idols in the game with 12 people left. That's so many idols. So many. I mean, they're never
I thought they
been.
were good until 6 players are left anyway.
Right.
So it kind of doesn't matter.
So you gotta burn them anyways, I guess. But still, it's a lot.
It's the new Survivor.
I guess. Whatever. So I like the ideas of it. Some of the one-liners are hilarious. I love that, but some of it gets a little weird. I don't know.
New Survivor.
And then added, we were good to go.
Hey,
Hey,
let's go Buffalo.
let's go Buffalo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go Bills.
Yep, for sure.
That's all I have to say.
Yep. Cool. Hopefully this ages well. Other than that, I think that's it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. You can like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pavement Row Productions. You can email the show directly, pavementrowproductions@gmail.com. You can subscribe right there so you get all the updates. And again, if you get a show that you don't want to hear or whatever, it's all in the same feed. So you don't want to hear that, just skip it and go to the next one, whatever. We're going to get out as much content as we can so you guys can have plenty to fill your earbuds with in your ear holes. Other than that, I think that's it. Appreciate it. Thanks for being on the show, Jessica. Mm-hmm. We'll get the show out as soon as possible, like I said. So definitely keep listening, keep an ear out for it. And other than that, I think I got nothing else for you because the tribe has spoken.